Hello there. All right. So I got this question on Instagram. How do you encourage trying new things without pressure? And I thought it would be really useful to talk about here because maybe you've heard that you shouldn't pressure your child to try new foods, or it just doesn't feel right to you and you don't want to make it a bigger deal or to create a bad experience around food for your child. And so you're trying not to pressure or to be controlling, and they're not trying new foods. And so it feels frustrating and concerning because it feels like, okay, I'm not doing the pressuring, but nothing is actually happening. So I'm going to walk you through three kind of overarching things that we want to do. First is exactly what we started with, which is not pressuring. So the first thing is to make sure that we're taking away any of that pressure or control, coercion, bribing, any dynamics in the feeding relationship that suggest to your child you really want them to eat something. So this could also be a lot of encouraging. Right? Maybe it doesn't feel like pressure to you. You're thinking, I'm just encouraging them to. I'm not telling them they have to, but they're really feeling that. So anything that feels like you really want them to eat something or that they should be eating it, or if there's other foods that they're feeling like they shouldn't be eating because you want them to be eating different ones. So we really want to take away any dynamics that suggest to your child, you should be eating this. I want you to eat this. Sometimes it's very overt. Parents will tell me, I ask them, take two bites. Or I tell them they need to take two bites, or they have to at least try it, but they don't have to eat it. Sometimes it can be overt. And sometimes it's actually like subtle behaviors that we're doing that our kids are picking up on. Okay, so we want to remove anything that suggests we really want them to be eating something. Now, we want to do this because we don't want our kids to be reactive, right? Oftentimes when that happens, two things will happen. If we are putting some pressure on them, they're going to react to that. The thing most kids do who don't want to try new foods is they're actually going to rebel against that. So it's like digging their heels in. And this can even be subconscious for them. They're not doing it on purpose. It's just a normal reaction. You want me to do that thing, so I'm not going to do it, you know? Or you could have a child who's a people pleaser and maybe they do start doing it because they want to make you happy or they want to get that dessert, whatever the thing is. But that's really not coming from an internal drive. And so at the end of the day, it takes them away from their body cues. Also, when our kids are picking up on these messages, it can just create that sense of like they're doing something wrong, they're being bad, planting the seeds for guilt and shame around food. So, we really want to take away anything that suggests pressure, both because it's usually ineffective and because it has the potential to create guilt and shame around food. Okay, so once we do that, we remove the pressure. The second thing is we really want to implement that we have some sort of structure. Okay, we want to implement some structure. And this is like having some structure and boundaries around food. If you've heard of the division of responsibility, this would be referred to as the what, when, and where. Now, that can sound really simple. As a parent, I decide what food is available, when it's available, and where it's available. However, there are so many nuances to this, and we also don't want to apply that in some rigid way or a way that feels like dictator like. We really want to be responsive to our child, noticing what they're needing, and to be a guide, to be a leader, to have some structure and boundaries. So, if you think about it, we don't have any structure or boundaries and they can just eat whatever they want whenever they want, then they're going to keep gravitating towards their same foods. I'm feeling a little hungry. I'm going to go grab a granola bar, or goldfish, or whatever the foods they're comfortable with are. And then when it comes to dinner time and you've made this meal and you're trying to expose them to other foods, then they're not encouraged to try it because they're probably not hungry. Or if they know that you put dinner down and if they just say, I don't want this, you go make them a separate meal. Or they know they can just go to the cupboard and grab something right when dinner's over. So we have to have some sort of structure and containment around food that sets them up for success, that sets them up to be hungry at meals and snacks, that creates some safety and comfort with the food that we're providing, that creates an environment that encourages them to want to try and like new foods, right? If we have a lot of anxiety or tension in the environment, that's not going to set them up to want to try anything new, right? At the same time, if there's a lot of distractions or things are chaotic, they're probably not going to want to try anything either. So this is that overarching, like we have to create the what, when, and where in a way that's going to set them up for success. So what food are we serving, right? We want to make it safe for them and comfortable, yet also provide new things. We want to have a rhythm to when food is available and when it's not, so that they can't just go to the cupboards at any moment. And then they're not encouraged to try the things at meals and snacks that we might be providing. And then we want to create an overall environment that's going to set them up to feel, again, safe and comfortable and encourage them to try new foods without us putting pressure. So we're creating the support system around that encourages it without pressuring, forcing, coercing, bribing, negotiating, any of those things. Now, lastly, we can do those things, and a lot of kids will actually start to try new foods. And if they don't, that might mean that they need additional tools and strategies. So, inside of my signature program, Nourish Together, I have what I call the power pyramid. And this is additional tools that build more safety, comfort, control, power for our children. Some kids need that. So this could be things like how you're actually serving the food on the table. Are you putting it on their plate? Are you putting it out for them to serve themselves? What proximity is it to them? Are you leaving it on the counter? Like, how are you serving that to help your child? It could be things like, what are you serving? Again, how are we building safety? Can we bridge with foods that they already enjoy? Can we do fun activities with food that build that comfort, make it fun, make them want to try new things? There's a whole bunch of activities that we're not going to go into right now, but these are more actual intentional things that we can do. And when I say the power pyramid, it's because they start from being kind of easy, everyday, called everyday essentials, things that are pretty easy for us to do when we serve meals and snacks, building up to very intentional things that might take a little bit more effort and intention on our part. So that might mean doing like play with food, doing art with food, things that are going to build more comfort that we actually have to kind of go out of our way to be thoughtful about. Okay, so those are the three main steps. There are lots of tools and strategies that can help you get there, and it really depends on your child and their personality, their age, what they might need for what tools that we might want to implement. But those are the three things. Make sure that we're removing all pressure, create some sort of structure that's going to support them, and then add additional tools and strategies. All right, if you have any questions about this, if you are concerned about your child and want to chat more, I will also leave you the link to sign up for a free call, an eating alignment call, so that we can talk about what might be the next best steps for you. All right, thanks so much, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.